Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me, guys? How are you, Paula? Are you not feeling well? Oh, dear God. Yeah, who does love it? Tell me. The most annoying. It's most annoying. But can you hear me clearly, though? It's not really clear, I know. The quality sound is not there, but at least you can hear me, right? I mean, like you can understand the word, right? Because I'm not using that one. It's very, very, very warm. I can put that in my head. Makes me crazy. It's a professional recording studio type headphone. That comes. Yeah. No, this is good. That one is good, but that one is too bulky on my head. This covers my ears, so makes it hot in 4 hours. And on the other side, the Bluetooth is not that as good as the computer is here, as much as good as phone. It's fine. The loudspeaker is not good because you will hear noise from outside, and outside people will hear you guys. It's not quite nice. So I'm using a type of Bluetooth which is smaller in diameter in the ear, but so at least I will have some space. But that's why you might have to compromise a little bit with the volume, the quality of it. Oh, get it. Let's see how long. And I'm having this nonsense internet issues. Oh my god, unbelievable! And I'm not being able to change it. It's not only my decision, but kind of hang in the balance. So what I want, Paula, I want you to be stay there. Just watch it, have fun on it. I have uploaded something, Diana and Paula. Where so the people join us. If you go to Opello, there is a little template I gave. You can just download it. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, right, oh. Record it. Are you gonna record it or something? So leave it there. Maybe Mr. Hoff is on holiday. He requested if anyone kindly record it. Yeah. That'll be great. So yeah, because I'm gonna go to step by step with the state chart with the advanced Ajax. Learn this. This will be very very good for you guys. I hope I can get everybody on board. At least watch it while I do it. I'm not sure where's Kasha going. Are you're not well? Are you sure you're gonna go to work? Maybe call a sick? Oh dear. God bless you. Take care. Hmm? Who's mine?
Yeah, she was texted in WhatsApp.
Oh, I see, I see, I see. She's very enthusiastic person. She really wants to know. This is amazing. In fact, all of you. Let's see. I hope they can deliver. Mazul is trying to join. Mazul is from Bangladesh. I know he will have trouble. Joining. God bless you. I gave him tips. Hopefully he buys that device.
What do we need to do now? We need to go Peldo and...
Yeah, let me show you. You just go to Peldo, and in there, on week 12, I'm just releasing, if you refresh it, you will see Ajax search to book multi-table version to setup file. Just download it. When you unzip it, you will see something like this.
Wow.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work at the moment because it's just a template.
Mm-hmm.
This is one thing we need. So you download it, unzip it. Database is saying you don't have to do anything. Database just unzip, put it in a separate folder and paste it up. We want to make something out of it, like this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you can do multiple. You can see all the column I can search, and all the tables are populated for me. That means I don't have to manually select tables. This has a code that will generate this. Once you select that, this gets activated, this gets generated from database, and then we allow you to search any of this. So to understand this, I have made a state chart diagram, and we're gonna follow this. Now, where is this diagram? This diagram you will find just here. So open it in another browser because it's like a flowchart, but flowchart drawing take long time. Before flowchart, we write something like a state chart, the state of each initial steps of an application. These are the components. So I'll explain this first, and then we'll follow step by step. We'll develop it along. This is how we do in real life. A step chart diagram will tell you the list of major components and each step of the application, even how they should change, what are their responsibilities. When you make things like this, then print it, put it in your table, when you code, this makes your life hell of a nice. It is alternative in the flowchart, but this is much more easy to write and understand. That's why we can download that. It's made for you guys especially. Objective is to teach you the step-wise development, which application development you can do. We can continue. Last time we did only one box search. This time we are populating from any data, any number of tables from this. It's more dynamic, and I don't have to input table name. I don't have to input column. You just give the database, any database. Okay. So go ahead, download it. Friends comes in. Mazdur, how are you?
He's still connecting.
Oh. This might overwhelm you guys a little bit. Oh, might be too much, isn't that? But it is almost a level 5 of university start things that I teach there. But I want to obviously introduce you guys because I believe you guys have an amazing attitude towards learning and development and maturity. So I'm glad that I brought it here without the pressure. We like to enjoy it. And we're going to implement this in this one solution that we are going to work into will solve a lot of problems for your admin panel, and it will be a rich development. Through one, that's the best step. Once you complete it, you're going to move it to dashboard for PC block. We'll see. Håkon, we have like the college, the coding. The other day we shared with others.
Looks like they have individual lesson. Only lesson for me.
Again?
Looks like today I have individual lesson. I don't know how to say that. Personal. One-to-one.
One-to-one. Why not? Of course. Let it be. Yeah, we miss Tasha. Raphael disappeared. Another jolly man.
Yeah, he was busy at working. Yeah.
And I think I will have Julius. Julius, who else? Charlotte, unfortunately, won't be continuing because of her job is highly conflicted with her work. It was very difficult to follow. So unfortunately, she won't be able to continue. But she wishes that she would have continued. Then another, Shari had no idea. Shari struggled last time. She's a good girl. But she also had this job killing her. Basically, poor girl. I managed to get her through the level. I had to do a lot of work for her. Unfortunately, I don't think so. She will be able to continue either. But I'm not sure. Let me talk to her. If I can help her. Just want to make sure that nobody loses their job. That's important. Sacrifice the job too. The job is very important. Yeah, I got Sadaf coming. I got Elena coming, I think. Hello, Sadaf. How are you? Can you hear me?
Hello. Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Dala. How's your kids? Are they naughty still?
Now they're asleep. Yeah.
Go ahead and download Sadaf, something that I asked people to download. Elena, how are you, darling? Elena, can you hear me? Sadaf, can you hear me?
I can hear
you. Okay. Tell people to download from week 2 from my Steam. This one, and unzip it. And also the state chart to open it separately, please. So when I get something ready, I got my headphones connected to me. Go for a tea. change my headphones. Can you hear me? Little bit?
Hello. Hello.
Oh, now it's much clearer.
Yeah, no. Tell me about the professional thing. You spend money, you get a good thing. No doubt. But it blocks my ear for 4 hours. That's the only problem. So go ahead and download Sadok.
Yeah, already. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. And the state chart as well. Mazdul, can you hear me? Are you able to connect? Good afternoon, Mazdul. Elena, can you hear me as well? Julius will join us soon, I hope. Morning, Julius.
Morning, Jules.
How are you? Okay, so what is happening? Those who can hear me, of course, Julius can hear me. Elena,
Yes.
can you? Elena, Mazdul, Paula, Sadaf. I know Paula and Sadaf can hear me. Diana can hear me.
Yeah.
Julius,
Mhm.
Sadaf can hear me. Elena, can you hear me? Mazdul, can you hear me? I know Mazdul is logged in, but obviously he's from Bangladesh. Maybe he's having some problem with audio. So, guys, those who are here, I am, as you can see, I'm sharing a screen with me. Can you see all of them?
Yes.
So on week 12, please do download this template. This is the setup file I have created. Just, you don't have to do anything to database, unzip it and run it in the browser. You'll see something like this. Now, this is a step-by-step procedure that we are doing, which lately we're going to implement this in our PC Globe site and the admin panel, which I'm building currently. But this component, you can put it anywhere because the way I'm making it is self-explanatory and it's independent. You don't need much of user input. Just give the database name, it will do the rest for you. It's reusing of module. So, but obviously this is what I'm going to build with you. So those who have a computer, go and give it a type. Whole day, I have objective of this to achieve. With this to understand, I have given, also made a state chart diagram. It's like a table. It's not flowchart, but flowcharts takes time to design. State chart diagram can be found here on the top. So on one browser, one tab, open this for me. And then one open this. From this, what we're going to make, I'll explain. At the moment, this is not non-functional. Basically, simple table has been created for you. Dropdown has been created for you. Database net connection is there already, but it doesn't do. What we want to make out of it is this, which I showed you yesterday, a little bit idea. So here, it will be the initial state. And then when you select, click on this initial state is picks up all the table name from the database dynamically. So this table is now manually written. This drop down is now picking up data from only the table name. That I have two tables on this, book list and users. It's picking up automatically. Of course, I have to write code for it. I'll teach you one of the key things of this. When you have a drop down that you want to populate with the dynamic data, what to do. Usually we type manually, up from this, up from this, up from this. But you can take advantage of server side to populate this on load. So you can pick up anything like this. So this is one thing, product categories, God knows what. Name of my customer. So once you select this, let's say I select one of the table, as you can see, this gets activated, the second column. So I'm controlling how users should behave. I'm also guiding them through. So now book list has been selected. As soon as you select and release on change, it triggers the Ajax call. Is then select all that column name from database for you. And this is quite tricky to do because we are not reading the data only. We are reading only the column name. Here we are reading only the database name, the table name. So this is something you learn new, how to do that. And then putting them in an array, sending over the Ajax, splitting it in a for each loop, printing as an option for each. All dynamically done by JavaScript and Ajax. So now I've decided, hey, I'm going to do a search on book name. You click that. As soon as you click, as you can see, this field get activated. My cursor already moved there. They highlighted. I'm ready to type, and it also updates you. Please type keyword. So I'm starting typing. As I type A, it's going to give me the same data, only the name only. I'm not searching any other things. I'm searching one column, so I'm just showing one column. The advanced 3D graphics. Let's change to maybe book ID. I know they have a book ID called B. Independent columns. I'm not pulling all the record. I am only pulling that particular column. But if you wish, maybe in the future version, we can produce this with the table, which you saw coming in the future. But that is too much code to handle at this moment. So I split them into small tasks, and I have created this state chart. If you work with me, then if you even observe, then you see how this thing was planned. It was not that difficult. If you have a computer, I will share the code. You can try along with me. If you do not think you have time, space, or concentration, just participate, join, help me building. If you see something, let me know, make a note. Okay? Choice is yours. Choice is yours. But I want you to get the concept from the beginning to the end. Don't miss anything. Paula has been recording. Paula, I think, was it Paula recording it? I think it was Diana recording it. Or Paula recording it. Paula recording it. So we can have a copy in case if anyone needs it. But I hope you'll enjoy it. Who lost? I lost Mazdul. Mazdul is trying hard to join in. And Mr. Hawk has requested if anyone kindly can record. If anyone record, just let him know that, yeah, drop that in a share box, Telegram or something. Telegram. I don't know. So you can get it. He said he doesn't want to miss a thing. So Mazdul is trying to join. He just informed me that he can't hear me. Mazdul, I think that's the mic problem.
So can you hear me now?
Clear and loud. Loud and clear.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm using my mobile phone.
No problem. This is called survival skill, Mazdul.
Yeah, it's just the load shedding. I just started now.
Yeah, you will get it. You'll get it. Adaptability. Adaptability. Well done. So yeah, Mazdul, do go download this file if you have a computer. But if you want to watch it. We're going to walk through this one basically to make an application which you will be later using to our PC Globe or any project you give it. You will have this. You can take advantage of this, and it is meticulously planned. Still, it might have problem, so you might have to watch over me, help me guide to participate as a team member. If you want to join doing with me, if you have time and space, go ahead and start. This is a template. You unzip it. You don't have to do anything. Just run it. It should be available because you already have the database. But if you don't have a table, on the other hand, there is a user table I have given. For some reason, if you don't have it, you will find that user table into DB script. So let's have a look.
Okay.
Let me see if I have. Oh, I haven't given this table. If you have a table, accidentally I forgot to give it, called user table. At the moment, I have two tables in the book info. So let me quickly give it to you if you don't have it. Book info. It has two table, book list and a user table.
I got the one.
You got it, yeah? I think I forgot to put it there, but if in case anyone needs it, I'm going to export it, share in the chat. Just drop it in somewhere. I should have given it, but I think I missed it. Oh no, I have it actually. Oh, it's there, it's there. It's called book info. Where is it? Should be somewhere. Yeah, it's already there. So I have given it some user and dummy user. If you haven't had the database, install it. I think all of you have it. If one table missing, install it. So the idea was that we want to make this application such a way that we don't have to often change the table name, column name. We'll improve upon it, but let's lay down the foundation. I have made a state chart diagram for it. And you will find that on the top of it. It's a PDF file. It's not a flowchart, but it works like flowchart, but much more clear and takes less time to type. State chart diagram, open in one folder, open this in another, open this in a code. And when I develop, you'll see this. The output will be something like it. This is a complete one, however. So when you load, what do we want to make? Can you see Mazdool clearly?
Yeah, I can see. Yeah.
Yeah.
If
If you do not have a computer, just watch it, take part in it, try to observe it, make note. If you are not in a state of doing this, but if you have it, go ahead and try it. It's up to you. Anyone wants to try it, go ahead. I'll wait. Just let me know. Who wants to try it? Maybe
I
as
will
long as
try.
you'll try it. That's Paula, right? Yeah, Diana. Diana, go ahead. At least I have one buddy who can confirm me this is working
Or
for
even
us.
me.
Oh, you are brilliant. So this is just to confirm it. As long as you can. If you have priority, not feeling well, feel foggy, forget about this for now. Most importantly, you take care. State chart diagram is actually a types of table. Tells you, try to list all the major component of an application like this. So let's see how many visible component that a user can interact with or get information. So I have a component here called drop down table. So before I do that, let me just quickly run a complete application so you can see what we are going to build. Think like a prototype. This is a prototype. I have this state 1, where I have this column is enable, and I'm controlling how users should interact. This column already been populated using a bit of server-side technique on load. All the table name for a given database. This is how WordPress, when you install WordPress or Joomla or any CMS system, you see you just have to set up your database. And you all have to do this from the website. You don't have to even go to database. They do this way. You just give the database name, they create a database out of it. And then install some default table. And then you can create more tables using this interface. So here, you give any database in a config file, it will automatically look for all the table name. The scripts written here, it's a different SQL you learned today, where if you not only interested on the data, but sometimes you're interested on the structure of the tables, the database, the tables, all the list of names of the tables. And you can do that with SQL command. You can just select all the schema table name as an array and produce this option drop-down menu dynamically. So on load, it will produce all the table names. So you can select. So if I change the database in my config to any other database, it will select all 7 tables that I have and make a list out of it. Now, the first steps, when I choose one table, what happened? This will happen. It will activate the second column, because second column now, taking the input from this table name, second column using Ajax, this is now Ajax, use that name to collect all the column name. So you don't have to manually type any column name. You won't be able to remember. Besides, remember, different table has different length of column, size of column. We want more dynamic. We want things to pick up for us. So this will pick up all the columns. So there's another similar type SQL statement that you'll be learning, that you can select all column name and use a for each loop through an array to produce this dynamic list using Ajax without page refresh. So that has been done. Now, I would like to search with the book name, for example. That's one single column. And I choose. As I choose, it says, please type keyword. It's also updating this component. And the third component has been activated, where if I write A, it's just giving me the name of the book. At the moment, we are not displaying table. We are not doing anything, but that is the next steps. Because if I do all together, it will be huge amount of code, unnecessarily made it complex for you. But trust me, it looks more, but if you design them step by step, you got a control of it. It's not difficult. So we want to achieve that first. If you don't have data, if you have empty, this keyword field is empty, this goes back to initial state. Data will be loaded here. And of course, if you type something that doesn't exist, then it will definitely update that on the fourth component. So I have a component 1, table drop-down menu, component 2, column drop-down menu, keyword component, and a data file data component. I just call them by their name. 4 component. They will be identified as a C1, C2, C3, C4 component number. Okay, and I will have a state list of state written here. So, for example, if I want to change now book ID, I know there are some book ID. Of course, I could have shown this data already, all of them, but that is something later on. So I type. I know there is a BK for books 10. You can see all of them are shown, and if I say 002, it's going to pick up the 2. I remove it. So we want to achieve that. Then obviously, I probably will be thinking when you select these, it's going to populate the whole book list here, and then you can even make it customized. We can do a lot of things, but that will be stage after this. So what is the initial state of this? Watch. In the stage chart, I have had some column here. These are the steps number. These are the step name. You choose a name, whatever you like, makes sense to you. I sometimes call them events. So that's something you design, how you want to. Because this helps you to code. If you print this and code, your life will be way, way more easier. Because otherwise you'll have to keep 2 things in your head. One, the structure of each steps. When things get complex like this, it's harder. You never do that from your head. You will miss something important. So in a development, we either go with flowchart or state chart. A state chart is an algorithm, step-by-step algorithm. This is basically a textual algorithm to tell us under each step what will happen. Initial state, when you load an application. In initial steps, our component 1, which is table drop-down, this will be enabled with the green. The feature this will have, this one is, it will be enabled. Just 1 second. I thought I heard a noise. So the initial stage, the table component 1, the table drop down, because it consists the name of the table, will be enabled in a green. And let's see if it is the case. Component 1 is enabled. You can interact. Component 2 will be disabled. Component 3, which is called keyword, will be disabled. Disable. Is it clear?
Yes.
Now, what about this component? Let's see. This will say display something. This component used to display information, but not to interact. But it responds to interact. Some source of standard message passing between you and human computer interaction, a communication. So that will be file data component, which we call it usually C4. I just given this name. Usually this is how you can do it. The display will have this piece of information. The data will be loaded here. If the components are written properly, there will be some match between file display from the beginning to the end. You'll see. So full cycle has been completed. So that's initial state. Step 2, when a user started interacting, because they will select something from table name. On select or on change. For human is on select. On programming event is called on change. On change, the component 1. This is when this happens. This will remain same. There is no change happen. These are the changes happen in every step. No change happen. It will remain the same look and feel. However, this column drop-down menu will have 2 things happening. One, it will be enabled for user to interact. It will also populate with column names. Populate with column names for the table that you picked in an earlier stage. So that's the select on C1. Whatever you're selecting. These are the state it happening. So, and this will still be disabled. On the message, however, it will say, please select column name. So let's do this. State 2. I select book list. This enabled. This has been populated with books. So 2 feature for this particular component has been done. And that is this. Enabled, populated with column names. That's been done. Now I expect to see this is disabled. And as you can, this is still disabled. I put a little bit search icon using the technique as a placeholder. You can learn it if you look at the code. It's quite not easy sometimes. It is font awesome. So when you load it, it might take a little longer to load it. When you see the search button, then you know your thing is ready. That's because I'm using CDN. So in a slow connection module, you might have to wait till you see the search box coming. So that's our second state. It says, please select a column. It's also guiding on component 4. Now on select on component 2, this will remain none. No changes will be on this drop down. No changes will be this drop down, but the keyboard, it will be enabled. It will be focused. A little thing will happen to it. And on the display, it will say, please type a keyword, because we're on the 4th stage, the 3rd stage. So let's do this. I select something from here on select column name. This enabled a focus. The cursor already shifted there, so you can start typing. And this suggests what to do. So of course, we made our choice. I started typing. What will happen? That's our last stage. So on key up on component 3, no change happened here. No change happened here. They will be remain the same, as you can see. And of course, things that are happening on keyword is you're pressing key, releasing key, whatever you're doing, typing basically. So this is it on key up. There are 3 conditions. Based on 3 conditions, display message will change. If it is true, if data was found, I just wrote it as a true, display the records. If it is false, say this match not found. If no type or the no character left, no cursor is backspace, it removed it, it will go back to data will be loaded here in initial state. Finishing the circle, let's have a look. So this case, when I press A, it's a true. And so I just gonna want to denote it as true. So that shows the display record. If I, of course, backspace it, remove it, there is no key, no value found, and data will be loaded here, will be displayed. As I type something which I may not have, for example, X, I don't have a book called X. At that case, it will say no match found if it is false. So this way our application completes. Does it make sense? Was it clear enough? Now, when you develop, usually I don't take risk. If I have a complex situation like this, going further, I follow the very well-known proverb that people use called divide and conquer. When you have a very complex situation, don't be superhuman. There is no need for it. You might take your customer into danger. Making a system, UK ambulance system was having problem and it was signaling wrong places, there was a real incident due to a lack of this kind of small thing not been properly documented. So when you do this, of course, it will make your life way more. If you take a little time to create at least state chart diagram, if you don't want to do big complex flow chart, at least do a state chart. But the state chart is only objective of state chart is to list down user interactions at this moment. But you can use the state chart for other things as well. But this state chart, I am only focusing on UI design, to design how I want to interact with my computer, how I plan. Then you discuss among the team. You can improve it. You can add thing, remove thing. You have to identify your components sometime. What would you call them? Agree upon them. Does it make sense to everybody? Do I have to explain one explanation? And this is a human readable, simple, no algorithm. Any stakeholder would understand this. Of course, you will have a dummy prototype anyway, just like you do, so people even walk through it. But that comes the real data. So please open it if you want to, Julius and Diana. Open it in your code, and we are going to develop it. I already have this developed, but of course, I have removed everything because I wanted to, even if it's a light, small thing, I want to do it to you guys. So every steps you see how was planned. The first thing we want is this. When you open it, there is nothing. There is all thing open up. There is nothing. There is nothing. Ah, there is something. There is something. Yeah. So let's open. Let's look in this. So I have made slight changes into this system. Changes that I made because I now have a lot of functionality. I have decided to introduce my file system before it gets too many of pressure on process file. I've decided to start componenting it, component based. So I went back to config file. I have now added a config file. I shift the config that I held in the process. All these things was written here in earlier. Now, because I will have a repeating of code, this is a good time. Take little extra time. You save your life time for longer. So without further ado, I went back to a file system where I have shifted this configuration and setup, just like we did for dbconfig in a config PHP. Okay. Trust me, all framework does the same. We are doing in a minimum scale. So otherwise, you will see hundreds of lines of codes, but don't get scared. These are doing boilerplate code. This is what it is. So here I have my connection object. At the end of it, I don't have any header file all done in one page. So I don't have, it is a single page application. Remember, it's not multi-page application. I don't have intention to have other linked page to it for GUI. There will be one single GUI for it. So I don't have header, and I'm going to use only one index file. So at the end of it, I've decided to load my data model.php, which will host all the necessary PHP functions that I've created, which I can reuse. So if I load config to anywhere, that means two files already been loaded. One is the config, which for your database connection. One is all the available function for you, data model. Okay. So I will load that in my index file. At the top of my index file, I've loaded it. So my index file now have connection not only with config, but also with data model. Because in the config, the last line of config is to glue it with it.
We don't need to put it top of the code, include once.
Include once for config. Where?
Okay, I understand now. I thought we need to include once, line 9, put in the top of the code.
No, you don't have to.
Oh, okay.
But you can. But you know why, Paula? Diana, the idea is here. You see, the data model has some function, don't they? If you look at that, they will have some function like, we had for PC Group. This function needs an object called connection object. Am I correct? A connection object. So watch. If I put it on the top, it doesn't make sense. That is because data model, when you load data model first, it will look for this guy, which doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So that's why you would load it after this.
Okay.
This will happen first. First thing will happen, this 4 line will execute, this connection will be established, and this object is ready, which I'm going to use in this file. That's why the sequence is very important. It's a good question. Very good question. Let me do that. And then now these two files together are one file, act as one file. All I have to do, go to my index, include this on the top. So every function that I will be writing in data model should be available to this file, even if I use it or not. That's one thing I have done on this. Then my Ajax here empty. Process file empty. Only process file contained in config file. Now you may wonder, you say, Subrata, you just have loaded include once in the index file. Then why you would like to take again in the process file? Well, when you can see these files are not connected through any means. They are connected through means this guy. Scripts for Ajax. So anything from here to here then goes to server side. This file, unlike data model, will only reply to this guy. When you do Ajax, they connect in the background. They do not connect through header. They do not preload. They're connected through Ajax. That's why my processor have nothing to do with index, even though it produces output for index, but through JavaScript. So this file is independent. Because it's independent, it's not glued to index or anything. It's just glued to this guy. This guy also need to know the database connection. This guy also wants to use some of the functions that I've written in here. And because the config contain the data model, the config contains the connection object, any file you call, any server side you call through Ajax, always make sure that you separately include the config file to it. Because you can see it's not loaded in the index file. It's not connected with any other PHP file except the data model. So you must do that for the file that is used for only Ajax. So that's why I did config file is empty at the moment. Data model is empty. Config is config. Once we have that, I have only put some data in here. In this, I have created a new div. Can you see it?
Yes.
This div is a 4-column medium size column. And I have one more here, another drop down. And of course, I have another div. So 3 column under 1 row. That's 4, 4, 4, 12 column distribution. If I needed 4 column, I would have changed them to 3. That's easy to make in Bootstrap. So what I did, first I created a row and I decided I need 3 columns. So when you create a row, you must create a row first to separate it from the upper row, whatever in the upper row, lower row. You could create the column without row, but that will not keep the responsiveness very well. So it is always suggested for every separate, when you decided I need a section, a separate section to do something, start with the row. Good idea. You wouldn't see significant change in the visual on the row, but it adds padding. It sets separation from the previous sections. It's also add media query for that row, so it's gonna shrink. So rather than directly putting 3 columns, you must always do this. Div, let's say I want a row. You write div, okay? And the class name for the row, you want, the class name for this div would be row. To give a class name, you put a dot. Okay. You put a dot, write row. How many row I want? At the moment, I want only 1. Just press enter. It will give you. Div.row gives me this. Now, what if I want 2 rows? That case, multiply it. This is a multiplication sign. I want 3 times of this row. Press enter. It will give you 3 rows. So very easy. If you remember, if you do a few times, it will be easy. You write div. Modern editor are very helpful to do these things. I need row. and I do not need more than one. Press
But,
enter.
even if you don't write div, just put dot row, it gives you a div.
Ah, brilliant ideas. I didn't know that. Oh,
Just dot row.
dot row. Brilliant. Thank you for that. There you go. Even better. Oh, thank you. You see, that's what I learned too. So if you find tips like this, share with us.
It works with ID as well if you put hash.
Is it?
Yeah, hash
Amazing.
row.
I see, brilliant. My enemy hash. Why not? No, it's okay. I got that. Yeah, but I will try. Just do it few times. Otherwise, you'll forget next time. Trust me. If you want to try it later on, do it because it's good that I know that I could do it. Brilliant. Now I press enter. I need now similar technique. I need 3 columns, and all the column there are many different columns. This is I usually go with call medium because you have call XL, call large LG, XL, SM. There are 4 types of column you can go. So I want call MD.
I think you need to put dot first.
Oh yes. Sorry. Dot call MD. Then what? I need
4 and multiply 3.
and multiply 3. 3. Get used to for a while first time. So I can create a template right away. Brilliant. And then you can go ahead, write your stuff in the middle of each column. This can create easily nice responsive. Why would you bother to create hundreds of codes for your inline when you can easily do this with very popular Bootstrap? Everybody uses it. There are other frameworks similar to Bootstrap, of course. Vue has one, but when you don't need to learn hundreds different. Bootstrap is here to stay. It's a 12-bit column system, very effective. It's getting even better. So I think this is good that you can do this. There are 4 different types of column. One is called SM dot how big we want. I want 4. Sorry, 4. You can go like this. The small one. There is one LG, large, I believe. This is for different type of screens. You can assign all 3 of them in one single column. So they will change based on the screen size. Very small screen can go extra small, small. You can do that even that. But it's too much to remember. I go with medium column because what I realize, I'm using different screen here. I have larger screen, smaller screen. MD can hold up from the mobile view to this. Pretty good. I mean, it's good enough. And then obviously when your mobile view is fires the media query. Even without media query, it does good responsiveness. So I will go with this. So this is how I have created my 3 column. As I said to you guys, I will give you guys little bit of small tips, maybe what I learned for Bootstrap. That's what. Here, the first thing I have done, I have created a drop-down list. Now, drop-down list is a tricky one. Always careful about drop-down list. And they might forget to cascade your things, even if it takes a little time. It helps. Of course, I have a label which contains, I have given an ID. Let's talk about this guy first. Select. This is a Bootstrap select template. I've taken from Bootstrap 5. I just said Bootstrap 5 select. Straight away, a simple bare one I've taken because I would not remember maybe the class name is required. And when I took it, it's given me this class, form select. It's a Bootstrap class. It does something definitely with it. This has the CSS for it. But they didn't have the ID, so I put the ID called select table. I decided to call it select table. And that's the ID. Probably I would have avoided the minus sign. But it works. Don't worry.
I have a question. What is 4?
4.
Label 4.
This one?
Table, label 4. Select table.
Oh, right. It is for this guy. Can you see here?
Okay.
You see this is a label. If I select, usually
Yeah, I understand it's a label, but what means for select table?
Oh, this means when you have a good ideas here. You see,
Keyword.
when you
Yeah.
say Q, can you see this is matching with
Yeah.
ID?
Uh-huh.
That's how it binds them together.
Ah,
Label for this guy, it should be the ID, same ID you put there.
okay.
And it gives
Now-
a beautiful thing. I don't think so label works very well with select. So ignore that. But you can see the effect of doing this. You could just write like this without a label.
Mhm.
No problem. Or a span. But adding a label for helps you to assistive technology. You see, if you're on a mobile view, your screen is very small, is it not?
Mhm.
If you have check boxes ever, have you seen how difficult to tick those check boxes with your thumb? Check box, radio button, especially small screen. Look,
Mhm.
I don't know if you've seen these check boxes. They're quite difficult to touch.
Mhm.
So this is very scary. So this case, if it's a big box, I can touch with my thumb. But if it is a check boxes, if it is a radio buttons, quite difficult to touch them exactly.
Yeah.
So, but they have a label too. See, interesting. If you say label for, and if I click on keyword, you see it is already selected.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Brilliant. This helps us. This look at this here as well. I don't think so. This will happen to select. It doesn't work that way. You see, if I for some reason I couldn't touch this. This is a small radio button. Imagine, just imagine. So I can touch this. If I touch, because they are bound now, this will be highlighted. Can you see?
Yeah.
It brings that technique,
Yeah.
especially on mobile. But this doesn't seem to work with select. I don't know. Maybe I have to tweak it something. I didn't research it very much, so go ahead and research it if it is. But I just need a label. I just kept them as a label. So here I have this class given by Bootstrap. This is an ID. I gave autofocus. Is already initial state. I put the autofocus there. I'm not sure this is actually working. Let's have a look. Yeah, it does. Can you see autofocus? I didn't even touch. I use my keyboard. It's changing. Can you see on initial state? Without touching it, it's already focused. And you can put some color and all these things showing that this is already focused. Let me see if that's the case for my real other one. Yeah, I can select like this without touching it. So autofocus was there initially. So this is what I did for this particular thing. The first option that I've selected is called, I wanted to convey a message to people saying select a table. Of course, it is also options. These are list of options available for them with a value attached to it. This one is book list. This one is users. These are the value that I want to populate. So if they select book list, the value will be sent. It's called book list. If there's a users, the value will be sent the name of the user table. These are manually done. I haven't done any programming yet here. So they are enabled. However, users select anything, it's not going to do anything. It's like an empty string. To do this, I used a word called disable. That means it's not selectable. It doesn't produce any value. It's just to display messages. So disable message does that. Let's have a look. If you carefully look, if I click, can you see this is a grayed out? That means it's disabled. So if you select it, it doesn't provide any value. And can you see this one is already selected? You see, the word selected makes this selected. Let's change it to second one. Let's see what initial state. Let's put it there. Let's say if you want to give user the book list as a first item, not the first one, you can make this selected. So let's have a look. Can you see that? So using the word selected, you can give it to your user. It's already selected for you, mate. But I've decided not to do that. I've decided them to select it. So to them to select it, I said, make the first row selected and make it disable as a message to them. Look. So they have instruction as an option 1. Please select a table. Right? Does it make sense? You can change it. 2 different things. One, disable to make it disable. So even if you select, it doesn't even let you select there. Check it out. It doesn't. It's stopped here. But it is good that you can visually give guideline to UI, part of the UI to your user. These are important little component. Makes the user interaction more intuitive. They won't be able to select it. It will not produce any value. It's just a guideline, and it's disabled. If I change it to remove it, you'll see it will make it enable, and I would be able to select it. And this is enable. You see, I can scroll to any of them. Can you see this? I can scroll through any of them. That means it's selectable. However, this doesn't have a value anyway. So I'm just using this as a kind of placeholder. These 2 techniques you can apply for the first row. Second and third is very simple. I hand coded some value. These will be replaced by our PHP. Book list, users. Now what we want after the break, we're going to go for a break for what time it is, guys?
10:41.
Okay, yeah, this is the right time. We're going to go for in a few minutes for a break, and then we're going to come back. So we want to do this first. Second is the column table, which I have only 1 option. There is nothing I have produced. This will be populated once this populated. Of course, the rest of the thing is pretty much same. I didn't make any changes. This is my UI. So if I look at my state chart diagram, it suggests on the initial state, I need to achieve few things. I need to enable this. This is enable. I need to populate it, which I need to do. I need to keep it focus, which I have done. No, I haven't. Yeah, autofocus. And if there is a file data error, I need to remove it. I haven't done this and this. These 2 objectives I want to do. This will be done through the JavaScript. This will be done with a small PHP, help of PHP. But I can go ahead and say, do this, do this. This is already done. So let's go ahead and put this into JavaScript, quickly disable these 2 components. So I'm going to go to, because at the moment it's not disabled if you look at that. They all enable. So I'm trying to organize some part of my initial stage. I'm doing the small things first. And I'm going to go to my, here, I need to disable them. I need to the first thing I want to do to make sure that before I go to break, they are disabled. So to disable it, you have known these things long time ago. I need to grab column 1, this guy. And I have given a name for it. I have given a name, ID for it. So I'm going to use that. Let's go ahead and throw this out. And then to disable something, we can use the property of function. Prop function is latest. There are attribute function, attr function you can use. But prop is more latest one. Property, it takes 2 variables. One call the name, what do you want? I said disabled. Disabled is past participate. So disable is true. Just put a Boolean value. This will make it completely disabled. Okay. So of course, enabling, disabling, quite mind-boggling factor. So what I want to put a comment straight away. I'm going to say disable. Disable field. Fields starts here. So this is what I'm going to do. The disable. Go ahead and if you enable it, just change this to false. You don't have to even change anywhere. When you trigger it back to normal, just change it to false. By changing this Boolean value, it will change it to the selector. So that's what I want to do. Of course, I want to disable my keyword field. So let's go ahead and grab that keyword field. Now and then I borrow some code from my previous finished application. So stay with me, but I'll explain it to you, the complex one. And I've done that. And if I refresh it, I should be able to see why I didn't see anything. Let me see what it not triggered or disabled. True. Select column name, keyword, prop, ready function. Am I on the right one? Setup. Let me see a little bit. How do I know this? I'm on the right one. Just put alert. Yeah, I'm on the right one. This one got disabled. Oh yeah, this got disabled. Yeah, I can't click. Go ahead and try this out a little bit. Even if it is disabled, it may not be fade out, guys. Always remember, we have to do something X for it. It's going to be like this. If it is a normal text box, interesting, it fades out for you. But if it is a drop-down menu, I realize that it doesn't actually get fade out. So even though this is not clickable, but how does my user know visually? They will try to click it. They think it is not working. Is it not? Look at this. Go ahead and try this feature. Put
Yeah,
this-
it works.
It works. But it does work, but from my user, it's not very helpful because as you can see, they will try to click it. It looks similar to this guy, is it not? This one I can click, but this one I cannot click. So it's definitely worked. However, unlike this simple text box, the disable option also does a crazy thing, make it foggy, make it a little bit of reduced opacity. But this one didn't. Go ahead and try this. So to do this, I need to do extra bit from this guy. The select column drop down. I just have to change a little bit of its CSS. Maybe I could set the opacity. Here, CSS using, I can just throw a JavaScript, an object called opacity. Reduce the opacity a little bit, maybe just give an impression to user. It's not only clickable, but also is not kind of give it impression, visual impression. That will reduce the opacity. Let's have a look. I hope it does. Yeah. So let's put this two in your code. Okay, if we go, and I'm gonna delete this guy alert box. You see, you can always check whether you are on the right place. So I'm just gonna copy these guy things and go ahead and try this and go for a break. If I think you already done it, but yeah. Everyone, there's a little piece of code. I will disable. Of course, you may say you could do opacity down for keyword as well, but I can see not necessary because it already does. For this particular text field, disable also reduce the opacity. Unfortunately, it didn't work for select box. So I had to kind of add it to give impression that not only is disabled visually, visually also is visible. I mean, we are advanced user of computer nowadays. By looking at that, anyone can understand it, or at least that this is something not right. So go ahead and try this. Let's go for a break. Come back, continue. Is that okay?
Yes.
Guys, go ahead and try. Brilliant. These little things actually will help you, and it's quite interesting to see the way this component behaves with the same command, how they behave, why they were designed to behave this, why did I extra things for text box while I didn't need this select box. It all has a reason. See you in a bit. Is it? We'll be back in 15 minutes.
Okay.
Can you hear me, guys? Anyone?
I'm back.
Brilliant. A few more minutes. So we have done a few things. We have managed to disable them. This is enable. Is this, when I refresh it now, this is also selected. That is because of the autofocus in the HTML. So these three things, it says here, enabled, disabled, disabled. Data will be displayed right here. I haven't done that. Focused is already because of autofocus in the HTML. So that's been focused anyway. Then I have a small thing to do. Can you see this is red color? Let's wait for a few more minutes, everybody to join in. When everybody join in, of course, I'll continue. Guys, give me a thumbs up when you're here. Julius is here, Daniel's here, Elena, hope you're here. Mazdul, I know, I got your message. Paula is there. So let's go ahead and I've done all three. This is already autofocus from my HTML. So probably don't need to do anything in JavaScript. If I look here, I have autofocus. But of course, it says one more thing to do is that data will be loaded here. It displays, but on a state it says file data error removed because it's an error color, error class removed. So I need to do this. So I'm just going to use remove class for that particular section, component 4. That's the ID for component 4. So let's just go back and grab that thing. Maybe remove it here. And this will be file data. Data will be like this. And of course, remove class. And I will say error class. So that's been done. I'll try to put a semicolon in case they mix up. Often I forget. So let's go and refresh it. This is red color. This should be now normal color and on the left. So we have achieved state 1. Not yet. One more thing left is populated with table names. And now this one, the small one we have done, this is the big one. So the data should be populated not by manually, but from database. So let's do that part. So I need a little help for database. I need a function that can read the data, all the column name, all the table name from the database. So let's go. I will like to use this file for that data model. Here, of course, I'm going to put a little bit of comment here. I'm going to copy a little bit of commenting code. Just put it there. a function to produce all table names and used on index PHP. This is the job of this function. Okay, and I'm going to write a function for it. Can you see it? Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna call get table names. It will take a database name. It will take a database name and use that name to select all the table belongs to that database. So the first thing I want to do, I want to get the global connection object, which is in the config file. Now config file and this linked. So I'm going to say global con variable, which is already available for us. When I collect all the table names, I put them in an array, push them in an array, send that array. When I will be using it, I'll be use this function to call this function an index page. So let's declare a variable called records, a standard name. It's an empty array. I will use this later. I need a SQL statement. Now this is a very interesting SQL statement, which helps you to select all the column name, table name. It's unlike something that you never saw, or maybe saw it earlier somewhere else, but here is the thing. So I'm going to select. Now this is a bit tricky. All the tables that you create for a database, MySQL also stored them. Initially, MySQL stored them, and by default thing called information schema, which we don't know. These are called meta information. To search a table or table name or column name, these are metadata. You need to search schema, and this schema has a name called information underscore schema. So, but what I want a table name. I want this schema will provide me. So I need table name from a special table called information schema table. It's a system defines thing underscore schema or schema dot tables. This is a table which has a list of tables name in it. So then I said where table name where table schema, you can search this table to check. We'll check in a minute. We want to give it a small name for it. Equals to table name. So I can go like this. It. So let's see what has gone wrong. Schemas where table schema is database name. Let me check why it's giving me error first of all. Select all schema equals this little bit of extra thing. This is how it's going to work. I'm going to give it the database name. It's going to select this schema. Let's have a look. How does it look like? Of course, I would prefer some sorts of bind param rather than bringing it like this. But for now, I'll just try this. If I do this, my computer is a bit non-responsive today. I'm going to try this in my database. to see what it gives. How does it look like? Paste it here. I'm going to remove this guy. I'm going to say the database name is bookinfo. Let's see what is this new thing called schema, and all these things. And I press go. Can you see it gives me something like this, guys?
Mm-hmm.
A very helpful thing. You can search almost any table from the information schema built-in table, which gives you the name of this. So, of course, this is interesting. I can use this technique. Of course, this is a bit advanced things. I can select all. Let's see if I can do this. This is a bit fun. I'm not sure I could be able to do it. No condition given. Can you see this? I can select all from information schema and tables, all the tables of information schema. That means all the tables you create in database. This is for any database. The schema is containing a table which has a list of different technical information which we do not know. What are these things? Looks a lot of things. So this is the table that you get. So this is something information schema. Let me see if I can just get the schema itself, not the table. See if it gives me anything. Just for out of curiosity. It doesn't. You need to mention an object of that schema. And not table. So that's why I used the word table. So it's something you saw. Table. So this gives me this, but if I use my one, and if I reduce it to, let's say, book info, book info, I should get all the table name. This is your info. This is the table. And I can say like this. It gives me nice output of table name column with the two tables that I have. So I can use them into an array. I can then print that. Can you see it? This is the output of it, something new you learn. A simple, quite simple techniques. Anything you build goes to a system collection of database tables of metadata. And one of those is called tables. And the database name is information schema. The database name is this. So it's a system database. You can read more about them. It's already created by this. So to get the metadata like column name, table names of certain database, you use this. Because this table name, column name is outside. It's a property of this schema. But what inside rows, those are properties of that particular table. So you need to go one level up to grab it. Can I change it to any other tables? Of course I can. If I have PC Globe, for example, let me see, PC Globe. Where is the PC Globe? Yeah, PC Globe. Oh shit, it's gonna go away. Let's do PC Globe. Was it the PC underscore globe? So if you give it to any table, any things, it should be able to give me the name of the tables in a nice row, which I can then collect in an array, rather than manually finding each of them. And then I can create a list, drop-down list out of it. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So this is a very good thing you can learn. It is a bit advanced, but it's fun. Of course, I'm not going to use, I will try to use a prepared statement, because this is quite dangerous. It may come from outside world, but it is not actually dangerous. I can argue with you. I don't need even prepared a statement for this. Can you tell why? This is not that dangerous. Who will give me the database name? Check your application. This drop-down menu, right?
Yes.
Sorry, not this drop-down menu. This one gonna give you the table name. But who going to give me? Is there any way a customer can give me the database name from this interface? Database name, not table name, not column name. Three things.
No.
No. So there is no chance the data will be hacked, or a value will be coming directly from outside world and into database. There is no chance because I will give the name to it. So I don't necessarily need to write a prepare statement. I don't have to do bind param for that. The reason for prepare statement and bind param is for SQL's attack. If any data value that you're using into MySQL comes from outer world or an API, outer source other than your own server-side script, you should be wrap it around with a prepare statement, because nobody can type anything on this one, nor they can. So I can just leave it like this, but I'm a bit fussy. Having a prepare statement is always a good thing. It only can be a good thing. So of course you can use a bind param function to do that. It's MySQL statement bind param. But so I'm gonna little bit try to do that, see if I can achieve that. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to put a placeholder just in case in the future if you change the mind that no, I'm going to also allow people to choose a database from I will create another drop down menu or something. So this will be future proof. And I'm just going to write my if statement with the prepared statement. So MySQL MySQL I prepare. Prepare. And I need to send two things to it, the connection update and the SQL. The prepare statement will prepare it as a mold. It returns true and it returns a statement object. This returns a statement object with some technical information. So I can use it, that statement. And I'm going to call this STMT. You can call it anything because it says on success, return a statement with some technical success information. I don't know what is this. I don't have to worry about it. That's all I have to do this. Now, here, of course, after this, I need to kind of think of a sending this data. So what I'm going to do, everything will happen here. I'm going to put it in a statement. Now I'm going to do like this. I'm going to bind the parameter. So MySQL see if these things works. STMT bind parameter. And I need to give it a statement object and then make it a little bigger. My thing is a bit sluggish today. Maybe it's hot. Yep, I need a fan for it. So so that's takes.
Sorry, question mark means any, yes? Any table.
Which one?
Line 13. Question mark means any.
Yes, rather than fixing anything myself, this is a placeholder.
Yeah.
I could have done this. Look, I could have done this. I could put a variable name directly here. Now this is dangerous. So this variable can come from outside world. Maybe a customer typed it. What if the customer is a hacker? If rather than typing a table name, they could try to inject a complex scripts that can break my database. And it will come all the way from there to my database to break it. I'm allowing it. So rather than doing it, we have invented something called prepare statement. Most of the SQL get hacked because earlier days we never used prepare statement. So the compilation and execution of this code, MySQL data is compiled to binary. Compilation and execution used to happen at once under one single algorithm or protocol. And that is the moment there is no way that protocol can check further filtering. It will get the data, whatever it is going to inject compile time and inside that binary combination. And most of the website was cached because of that. Now what we decided, we compile it separately with separate protocol, which is the protection for it. And we execute it after that. So rather than sending the main data, we send a placeholder. A question mark is used to a placeholder. So you can put anything in there, any table name, it's not a problem. I still could put any table name into this database variable, but this is not just for that reason. It is to make sure that SQL injection not happens. Rather than sending a data directly through schema, you're putting a placeholder, a dummy data, and you prepare it. A down prepare statement will create a mold, something in English called mold. Mold means, let's say, a container. You're making a plastic doll, and you want to make hundreds of dolls. So you have a design box, which when you fill up with plastic, it produces, and put it in a code, it is produce a proper doll. Using that template, you can make hundreds of similar dolls. Now, what we are doing with prepare statement, we are making a template. So that we are doing. So this template doesn't have actual data. So this, now I'm putting the real value here. Let's have a look. Yes, I'll explain you what is these things. Then put database name. So it completes. With this, rather have a placeholder, but it's technically correct. So with this placeholder, it will produce a mold, a template. On the second function with different protocol, we are now saying, hey, statement, can you attach now this data to it? And it will do it separately. Because we are separating these two contexts with two different protocols, they would know they have protection for each. And this is represent the data type, because database name is string, so I put a string. If it was a price, product price, I would have put I for integer, or float, F for this. You have to also tell it what data type I'm expecting it, so it can do the checks for you. Once this done, now we need to, we are ready literally. We need to execute it. Now the execution happens separately. We used MySQLi and statement. Statement empty, and then execute. Of course, I'm not going to explain all of them. I'm explaining one first, so it will be quicker. It's the similar process. Bit hard to remember sometime. Now this function will execute it. A engine to execute it. And this, because we separated the preparation, it will never have the SQL injection. Virtually impossible. This function return true if the execution success. If return false, if the execution fails for some reason, it detects something, it will fail. As you can see, it's return full. So I can test it. I can put them into a if statement. If this successful, then I want to go ahead further things. If it is successful, something had inserted into database. Now, database will, there is a different application. It will now reply to you. It will then reply to you with something more technical information. What has it found after execution? Maybe an insert happened, maybe in this case a select happened. It will reply back to you some technical information again, just like statement object. So this, when it replies, I need to collect it. and it happened immediately. To collect this result, we call another function called MySQL I statement get result. It is a similar thing. Again and again, you'll be doing MySQL I statement get result. This function will now try to collect some technical information. So that will give me some result. Because it returns a result set, some sort of technical information. I don't know what is it. Maybe number of rows, number of these, how many rows it found, how many row affected, whatsoever. Because it's returned something, a result set object. On success, it will give you some technical object. On failure, false. So I said, okay, go ahead and give me the result. So I'm going to store that into a variable, this object. We still don't have the data. We just have a result object which contain how many number of rows it found. Select table name, probably 2 rows. How many column it was found. So it's going to give you some metadata, internal integracy object, this object. Still not the data. We still haven't the first data. It just gives some pointer where to locate this, where it found the match in the database. What is the binary code for it? How can I locate it? What is the pointer of it? Blah, 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 a lot of things. That object is a technical object. These objects contain something very interesting. This object is something very interesting. This holds information about how many row was found. Okay, I'll show you in a minute. Just let me finish this. So there is a function MySQL gives you. It checks how many rows there, number of rows, and we can use that function now. MySQL, because we're not going to do anything if there is no row found. We're only going to continue execution fetching record when there is something found under that database. So I said num rows. This function can inspect the result object and exactly tell us whether there is any row was found. If anything greater than 0, this is a condition that we want to put. Number of row is greater than 0. That means there is something to collect. If there is nothing found, then I do not want this. So what I want, of course, I want to do something interesting. I can use a while loop, a small while loop to collect the table name, because I know it will be collected as a table name. You have seen this because that's what we call it, table name. Here you can see it gives the word table name. So I can use that. Now, if this is something that is there, all I want is this. I want to collect it. Now I'm collecting those name of the records. Okay. And I'm going to store them. Sorry, just 1 second. I'm going to array push. I'm going to push them into an array called record. Records, that's my array that I've created earlier. Close this. So I'm saying, could you please grab, could we just go and grab all the row, pack it as an associative array, and push into this guy. You can just directly return it actually, if you want. But I decided to push it a little bit. Let's see what happened. It's going to do that. Now after doing this, it's going to return that array. If row was found, this record will be returned. Okay. Returned. If no row, where is it? If no row was found, sorry, I need to put it inside this guy. Return it. Else, return false. Return false. Okay, so we have modeled it properly. Now we have one more if statement just above here. If the execution goes wrong, what we want. We also want to say else return false. In other cases, just return false. False. So there's job is done. Now I have this guy a bit cascaded nicely. So you can tell this is separate if. This is separate. So yeah. If execution fails, it will return false. If no row found, it return false. Now that I have a fantastic function, I want to, of course, I want to do something. I want to make sure that I also identify each of the section like this. This ends of number of row. Sometimes you have too many if else. I believe this is the end of numbers function. And this else is a part of execute. So I'm going to put that in here. End of executes finish. And I have another prepared here, which is the end of prepared statement. Now I'm doing this extra thing that because I don't get lost in these if statements. And I know which if finishes where. Let's tidy this up. So that's my prepared statement. Contain this. This has this guy finishes here. Maybe I could push a little bit if necessary to organize this better. So I know I have this guy here. So this is one thing, and I can push this guy a little bit here. Maybe it's to make it absolutely nicer. Yeah, I think this is the if. Put it there, maybe. Yeah, are perfectly done. Where is this gone? This guy's here. This guy. Yeah. Oh, okay. Of course. Of course. This is why it is. So let me just put a little bit this here. Let me see if this works. Just trying out because I like that bit of piece of thing that tells me. Yep. Okay. So this function is ready. Let's try this out. Let's call this function. I'm going to call this function in my index page on the top of this. If successful, this function should give me something. So of course, the database name that we want to collect is called bookinfo. This database name is called bookinfo, guys. Where can I find this? Well, your config file, you already have it. Let's have a look. Can you see this? I already defined it here in the config file, database name. And because I'm loading in underneath the config, that variable is available to this guy, taking advantage of I don't have to type again. Now, when I return it, it's of course going to, I'm hoping that it's going to give me a bunch of name of the tables in an array. Let's have a look. Hopefully without any error, if I have done right. That's it. Now all I have to do, just print it. Print, or if I'm successful, I should be able to see it. All the table names. You will be able to do that. I'm going to give it to you once I successfully manage to pull that accord. Can you see these guys?
Yes.
We are successful. Well done. We have an array that holding all these arrays. That our record array, and because I have two rows, it's going to create two separate rows. So one array, parent array, and a two-dimensional array. You can even do to understand this better, you can do echo. You can do this, print pre statement, perhaps. I can put a style equals to, I can put a style color, white. Maybe let's see if I can put a style. It's gonna look good. A little bit of 3 around it. I put a echo. A little bit of 3 finishes. Just to print it white color. See, I can print them. So, can you see this clearly now?
Yes.
Try to understand the structure of an array. I have a complex array here. I have this array. I have this array. I have this array. Now I have 3. Oh my God. I have this is a 3D array. I don't want that. I definitely don't want this 3 arrays. I want 2D. That's because of this. I'll show you why. Can you see 3 array? 1 array.
Yes.
Within that, another container that has 2 rows. All I need up to this level. We do not want this extra array. That means I can avoid now the record array. I don't need to. To avoid it, I can do like this. Let me see. Go to the code. Just update a little bit. Instead of pushing it, just say like this. Put it, transfer into this array. Don't push it. See if this gives me something better. How many I got, guys? Perfect. 2D array. That's all I want. I don't want unnecessary extra layer of empty array on the top. So there are 3 arrays. 1 container, 2 row. Each row will have their own array with a key called table name and all the tables. We have successfully pulled it. All I did, I removed the push array push because I already have an empty array. If I push, there are 2 array already here. This will create an array already. It will also pack all the rows into a parent array. When you do this, he says fetch all. So it's going to go all the array, pack it nicely into a parent array, each row as independent array, and 2D array. It will return a 2D array. So because it's returning a 2D array, there is no need to create another layer of array. So I just declare one early. It's an empty. Now I'm pushing. I'm just skipping it. It was empty. Now it has this. I'll record it. Now I'm going to give this to you guys. Okay. Data model in a chat. Shall I give you in the chat? This data model?
Yes.
The file will be good because other than I might miss something. Try this out. You already have the table. This table C exam history docs level 3 Ajax that is setup. That is data model. That's the only file at the moment you need. Put this piece of code or just replace it with your data model. I have a lovely function that I can use. I'm just going to also say end of, I'm going to write something like this, end of get table function, just for fun. So I don't table function. If you have done that, all you have to do on your index page, just add this bit to test it. See if you can populate. So at least we can now populate our drop-down list with this array. See if it is working. Just whenever you're ready, just give me a signal. Take your time. What if I give it different, just to test it? PC Globe, for example. See if I get, how many table I get? Ooh, I get all of them. So you can point it to any table, any database. It will give you the column name. Lovely. But changing the little change here will give change everything in the application. It's less input, more output. Try this out. Let me know when you're ready. We now populate using this technique. You can populate this drop-down menu. We have the data. The rest of them function, of course, almost repeating. So I'm just going to copy paste to finish it.
Mine is not working. I have mistake line 15 in data model.
Let's have a look. It's quite a big function. Diana, show me. I want to see what is it. It could be different. Let's have a look. Let me know, Julius, if you've tried it, it's working. Oh, bracket missing. End of file, right? Right. Let me see. If this is there, we're saying if MySQL, hover onto it, what it says? It says syntax unexpected if. Make it a little bigger. Let me have a look. It could be one of the small brackets somewhere missing. If statement equals to MySQL prepare, that is correct there. And how many if clauses? This is clauses here. Let me check. Return end of rows, else return false. Then you have end of execute. She done well. Prepare statement and the last. Ooh. Oh, okay. The error I have seen, it happens on line 13, darling. Line 13. You see where you said where? 1.3, line 1.3? Yeah, at the end, where you say placeholder, after the placeholder word, you put a semicolon. Bring that semicolon after double quotation mark, last double quote mark. Bring it in front of placeholder. The word placeholder. I can't hear you. The line was not closed properly because you commented out the semicolon at the end. So that was the problem on line 13. Nothing happened here. No, it's not here. It should be the end of the line 13. Before comment. Before the comment. You have put a comment called placeholder. It should be before the comment.
Could you please repeat it? I don't understand.
You see on line 13?
Yes.
Every statement should be finished with a semicolon. Your semicolon is missing there. Line 13, 1.3. Not there.
Oh,
Not there. Line
like
13, 1.3. Yeah, 130, 130. 1.3. Remove on line 30. Remove
oh
this.
my God, not 30, 13.
13, yes. But you still left in the 30, so you make sure you remove that one. That's it, girl. That's it.
I thought 30. Okay.
I see. Okay, no, it should be working now. Go ahead. Oh no, there is another one, small error. Seems like, why is red color? SQL select all from this. Is it giving you though?
Yeah, it works.
Why is red color? I want to see why your data model is still giving a little bit of red color complaint. Let me see. SQL select all table from.
Looks like it's not like this one.
Oh, of course. I see. Put them into one file, darling. One line. The last PHP that came to second line, put them into one line.
Oh my gosh, what I'm doing? I don't understand. Delete a PHP.
Just delete it.
If I do, it's one line.
Maybe spelling mistake, something.
But it's a comment.
Oh, there's a comment.
Yeah, it's a comment. But anyway, it shows. Wait, if I delete it, what's going on?
Yeah, just delete it for, let's say, let's see what happened. No, it has nothing to do with that. PHP question mark. PHP started. Then don't worry. Then it is not your problem. But this is kind of annoying, is it not? For you, even though it is. So you have a question mark. PHP started. I don't see anything.
I can't see as well.
Why is complaining? I have no idea. Maybe it is something that saying, but it's working, so that's not a problem. I have seen this kind of thing happen by the browser, by the editor sometime because of some sort of extension. Didn't like it. You could remove the PHP starting tag and write it again. Let's see what happened on line 2, maybe just in case, just to see if there is a character. Remove everything on the top and then write it again. Let's see. That's good. Now you see this hash sign and everything. Remove the hash sign. Do a double / to comment out. Maybe it's not supporting the hash sign. Double / yeah. Comment it like that. No function function. What? That cannot be a remove function. That's a spell mistake, cannot be a syntactical mistake. No, it's not your fault. Leave it.
It's anyway, it shows and it works.
It works. Now, I have seen this before, darling. It's one of those extensions go mad a little bit. But of course, it's not very helpful sometimes when you're trying to fix the problem, right? But that's okay. It's working. I have seen this before. It happened to me. One of the extension I used is overdoing it. So that should work. How about Julius? Was it any good working for you? Okay. Right. So yeah, Julius is working, I believe. Go ahead and try it to let me know. Shall I continue? Oh, Julius is not here today. Oh no, he's here. So the second bit is, let's do that. I have an array. I'm going to remove this. I don't need this. I'm using that array to produce this for me. Watch, this is a really good thing. You will be using this kind of things in the future a lot. So what I want, rather this array will be generated. The first line is fine. It's going to be there. But for each of these objects, each of the table name that I've created, here I have two tables. Sorry, not two tables. Two tables here. Let me refresh. This. So I need two drop-down list here, not one. It will be 2, 3, 4 based on how many I have. Since I have an array, I can loop over it. So let's do this. Hopefully I can get it done. So I'm just going to start a PHP here, a little bit PHP, the way you did for your other application, PHP. And of course, I'm going to kind of I'm going to do this PHP closing. I'm not going to close it. Let's close it, otherwise you won't be able to see it. Let's close it. Yeah, sorry. That's closing. Make some space here. Here I'm going to say, I'm going to check in case this table is for some reason is empty. I don't want to carry on doing this processing. So I'm just going to make sure that this is not empty. The variable name on the top is called table names. Okay. And if it is not empty, it's good to double check it before you start printing something. I want to do something. I want to run a for each loop because that's an array. For each table name, I should have some names. Can you see names? Table names. That's a plural. As table. As column. Oh no, sorry, table. They're tables. Tables. Sometimes I forget. Table. And I'm of course going to close my PHP here. For each loop. I'm cleverly trying to do this so I don't have to write. So I close it. I can write HTML. To write HTML, I have locked out this guy. I finished this. Now I'm going to write start here again. So basically what I'm doing is this. I have two pieces of PHP. One piece is started here and is, let's say, finished here. This is a piece of PHP within HTML, one bunch of it, which initiated the starting of if, starting of for each bracket. I need to close them, and I will close them. Another chunk of PHP started, finish here. Go ahead and try this. It will be fun. Obviously, I will have two sets of this. But of course, where is my HTML? I need to repeat this. I need to do this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this. Let's say. And this will be HTML. Just to get back to HTML, I did all these things. Option. I'm going to remove it. I need a value. I need value. Value. Now value would be data coming from this. So I'm going to write PHP. Actually, I can write it like this. Echo. Is this? I say table. Sorry. So the value will be dynamic. When you need value, value will be when they select something, there will be the value. And then what the customer will see? The customer will see this here. That's a bit tricky, but you get used to it. So all the value and the name are generated by the selection from the database. Now let's have a look if this gives me what I want. Okay. Let's tidy up a little bit. Don't need to have these things. Little bit tidy up. Yeah. Now let's go ahead and try this. Initiate state, the last bit. I see. I see. It's a table length. String conversion. I see. It was doing something, but it says I have another array. Hey, I see. This is bad. This is really bad. Why this is it? Okay. It says I'm having a little bit of problem here while I was trying to say this one is still an array. It is still an array. Let's have a look. So I'm going to quickly check it here. Wherever I print this guy, I'm going to do this here. I'm just going to quickly run a for each loop here. for each. See what is actually giving me. Why is giving me? How do I should get it here? Echo a table. See how it prints. Let's see what it does if I do this. Let me see. So up to here, because I have now two-dimensional array. I see. So this is also an array. So I think I have a little mistakes. I would go back to my data model. Okay. Instead of putting into another variable, which I don't need, that because this guy is doing it for me already. So what I'm going to do, instead of this, I'm going to say return this. Let's see if this helps the problem. Rather than storing into another kind of object, I'm going to immediately return it because this one is already returning an object. So let's have a look. Oh, this gives me the same thing. So that means I have to split it further. Okay. So that wasn't a massive problem. It's giving me the same thing. It's giving me the same thing. It says this is a string. So let's do this. If it is a string, then you don't have to change anything data model. Leave it the way because I don't need to change anything. Leave it there. We tested it. It didn't. So but that means definitely there is another array inside it. So what I'm going to do is print R to see how does it look like if this is array also. Because I now have two-dimensional array. Let's have a look. So here you go. Now it's an array. So I have to write another for each loop. I have to do another for each loop for it. Because you have 2D array. Fair enough. So this is itself an array. So all I have to do is very pure. I could do like this, for example. It says the column name is a table name. The column name is a table name. Okay. So let's run a for each loop. Tables as key. You see, I'm not doing it in the right place. I'm just doing it here. Value. Echo. Key. And then value. Let's see now. 2-dimension, 2 arrays. Simple. Because I'm trying to make it as independent possible without having to write undefined variable tables on line 5. Why? Sorry. What? I can put it here actually. Little bit of paragraph. Just for a fun to see if I'm getting it anything. 2-dimensional array. I need 2 for each loop. Hopefully I get to see this. Can I see?
Mm-hmm.
So we achieved it. Let's do this one there. So I need just a 2-dimensional. I need one more dimensional array. And from here, all I am interested, the value is the one I'm interested. I don't even need to print this because we know this is a book list. All I need is this. So I don't have to print the key. Because I don't have to print the key, I can just do like this. Ignore the key. I'm interested in a value. And if you refresh it, I should only see the values. Book list and user. Simple. Use this now. This extra array. Bring it over here. And of course, I need to close that too. I'll have 3 to come close. So put this, for each this, I will have option value equal to this value. Now, remember what this is a HTML value. This is a value our variable. I am hoping that if I'm done it good, I should see this. Can you see?
Yeah.
So let me do this. Just all I needed is 2 for each loop instead of 1, because I have 2D array coming here. So of course I do not need any more. Get rid of this guy. Let's keep it simple. And I'm going to give you this piece of code. Carefully put in between select. Let me give you the whole select. Replace your select with carefully this. This should work. You don't have to do anything data model. Just carefully in the chat, put a line and then a little bit of this. It's a 2-dimensional array, carefully written with this kind of HTML plus, because I was rendering some HTML. So I've decided to come out of PHP here and then do the HTML bit and close all the brackets, 1 for each of them.
All works.
Brilliant. So let's have a look, double check whether we have achieved all 4 of them. Enabled, disabled, disabled. This is displaying, error has been removed, color is focus, populated with table names. This is completed. This is complete. Now the second option left, before we, of course, let's try to achieve that before the break, which is 1 o'clock. On select, I want to do, when you select these, nothing will happen here. This will be enabled. Let's do this. How do I trigger it on select? So let's do this. I'm going to go to JavaScript. Here, I'm going to write a function that will fire when you select something. So basically, when you select the table drop down, it will do some beautiful thing for us. Let's go and write this function. I'm going to copy one of these guys here because I need a hash sign. The drop down that I'm going to apply this change is this guy, and it has an ID. Let's find out the ID. It's in here. ID is select table. So copy this carefully. Go to scripts, make some space, write it here. Right, on key up. No, on change, sorry, my apologies, because it's a drop down. So on change, if a client changes any value in the drop down, it fires an event called on change. We want to call a callback function to do something for us on the data. So this is our end of, right? End of table drop down down change event. Okay, that's the event handler. So this is the event. That function will be identified as the event handler. Event handler function. Yeah, it's kind of an event and handler. So the first thing I said, when you select this, it should activate this. It should kind of, they say here, when you select component 1, it should enable this guy. So let's write these things, Diana. This bit.
Already copied.
Brilliant. So on this, we want to activate this guy. Column guys, copy it. I'm just going to copy this little bit and put it here. First thing I want to do is enable it. Enable fields, for example, just for try know where I'm enabling them, and it is disable false. So one thing I want to achieve is make sure that when you do this, it's disable. So I'm going to push a little bit, tidy up. Oops. Sorry. So see if this works. Didn't. Let me see why it didn't. Maybe I have written something wrong. It didn't. Oh, it enabled it. Huh, I see. It enabled it, but I don't see it because I don't have the opacity changed. Opacity should be removed. So when I do this little bit of thing is 100%. Change this to line. So you can see if I refresh, I click it, choose some, you see before I click, it's not enable, I can click it. It's still visible. But when I select something, you can see this is activated. Opacity has been gone. But there is no data, of course. So I need to produce the data before I do this. But that is I will coming later. So this will do the job. Go ahead and see if it is working. Now I need a Ajax here. Little Ajax will help me to grab all the data, all the column names for that particular. Shall I copy paste it for you?
No, wait a second.
Yeah, no problem. Go.
No,
It works.
it's not works. It's not works. Wait a second. I need to check.
Go for it. This works for yes.
It's weird. I see the mistake. Oh no.
Something silly maybe.
Right.
We're just reversing the effect.
Mm-hmm.
Subrata, can I do chaining for the CSS line?
Yeah, actually brilliant. Yeah, well done. Excellent. Thank you so much. Actually, that will save my time.
Even on top, actually, on the disable fields.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. Brilliant. Let's do this. It's better. I can, as much as I can save time, that will be writing code. That will be great. I can even write them like this, or I can write it in one line. Reduce some repetition. You're good. I forgot that. It's really better this way. Let's see if it works. If the function supports chaining, it should work. Yep. most of the jQuery functions supports chaining and callbacks. So that is a great idea. Thank you. When you have a repeat of this guy again and again, select column, why not just to do a chain? That's just a great thing. Maybe a right remove error class from file data div. The red color. Error class means the red color. The red. Just for ourselves, so we know what we're doing each line. Brilliant. You see, this is why the learning helps, because definitely you just remember from the lessons, hey, with the way to do this, and this is really great. So of course, I probably will move it a little bit on this side, at least to know that this.
I can't fade mistake.
See, opacity 1, that's correct. Opacity 3, that's okay. Prop visible, fillet remove class, select on change function. You have the function which is selecting the column, removing visible false, and CSS is opacity 1. Bring them in one line for in case, so you can see the opacity for the CSS. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it's there. Oh, I see. It's already there. No worries. Clear cache. You know, the little bit of cache could be the problem. One way to clear the cache: hold your hold your control key while you click on refresh button.
Yeah, I press F5, but it's not showing me nothing.
Can you check your console? See if there is the slightest thing we are doing mistake somewhere.
Select. Right. Okay.
On change, the event is not firing. Select table. That's our ID. On change. Yeah, that's correct. Refresh a little bit and try to do this one more time for me. There's a little error not found. What was the is the font awesome? Annoying thing. Just refresh it slowly one more time.
F5. Control F5.
It's unable to do something. It's causing a file not found issue. That could halt a few things, but I don't think so. That is the main. Just do one more refresh and wait for. You should not see this get. That means it's unable to load from internet. That search. Okay, leave it there. Leave it there. Okay, failed to load resources. CSS map. I don't need map. I don't worry about map. Now try it. Select table. Can you do me a favor? On line 14 on your code, just do me a little alert box. Just put an alert. Alert, hello, hi, or something with a single quote or double quote. Just put hi. Now try to refresh it and pick something from the drop down. See if this. Just pick up something from the drop down. We should see, this function is not even working. I see where is the problem. 13. It should be select dash table, not underscore table. Select minus. Nice, nice. Now try this. It should work. So this is how we do small debugging things just to see. Maybe it's the entire function is not calling. Refresh. Yep.
I can see hi. And now it works, yeah.
Yeah, you can get rid of the highs. Brilliant.
Thank you.
No problem. Lovely. It's quite tiny things. That's why we can't see it. We need an extra pair of eyes. So our function is doing the base things possible. Let's go to step.
Yes, now I can see.
You can see.
Your code.
So it's been enabled now, but I haven't populated it. This should be disabled and it should say please select column name. So let's go ahead and do this small Ajax to do this populate with column name. Okay, that's the important thing. So of course, when I do that, I will remove this and put it in the bottom. So I want to do that, enable and then enable it. So, but it doesn't matter. It's so quick that it fired together almost. But that is, we'll see this later. So let's go ahead and start the Ajax. So, okay, so the Ajax, I need an Ajax, and you write this. This is the JQuery Ajax, my really favorite thing. I love it. And here do URL. And URL will be, as you know, URL will be our process.php. That's the guy we want. Of course, I have to put them in a double quotation. How do I do this again? Mistakes and mistakes and mistakes. Okay, so that's done, and a comma. That's one thing. I'm just gonna write a little comment here. Ajax 1. This is my Ajax call 1. Let's call 1. This is and it's for fetch column names. Okay, so this objective is so because we will have more Ajax. It's a good idea to give them a 1, 2, 3 Ajax call 1. This is the job of this Ajax. End of Ajax. When they're small function, I can easily write the comment. When they get bigger, it's difficult to write the comment. So I'm gonna say now end of Ajax. Sorry, Ajax 1. That's how I know this is Ajax 1. I'm just giving them a name. Actually, just call Ajax 1. Simple. And you know what is it. So because it's gonna go bigger, this space, I have decided to write it before it goes too bigger. So I put it this. So I know the boundary of it. And they would be similar. Okay, fine. Let's go ahead and add other things quickly. Type. So just a little bit. Type. Type will be post. A post method that we want to do. Data. I need data. So what I need, I don't have it, I'll produce it in a minute. So at the moment I don't have anything. I need data, which I don't have it. So I probably will get that first time. So when you select an item from drop down, which is you need to collect that information. So let's say when I activated it and I'll see a lot of things, and when I select it, it will give me the data. So this I want to make sure of that. Obviously, it's not populating anything. This guy is not populating anything. But when I select this table name, with this table name, it should give me the data, this name that I selected, because I need to then grab this table name, send it to database and grab the table name for them. So I haven't done that. So let's go ahead and do this a little bit. Just above the Ajax, you just write this. Of course, I want to also make sure that any event, default event, I always do that, have to be prevented, because button click, drop down, form submission, they have a default event which could interrupt your flow. It's like removing, merging, and padding for CSS. Similar, resetting. So I'm going to use this event object, global event object, and I'm going to do a little bit of that thing at the beginning of everything. And you know what is it? Even prevent default. Quite a long name. Add this bit. Also, I'm going to grab the variable. Usually we do that on the top. I need a variable name called table name. So I can write a var table name, for example, because that will, whatever you select from the first drop down, I will store this there. And surely that's the name of a table. So I would like to call it table name. But instead of declaring this variable locally, I've decided to declare this variable globally. I'm going to go all the way top. I'll declare there. That's because I might need, I can use it further in the later stage. So I don't mind to declare a few variables like that. So one of them I want to declare is called table name. Table name. The variable that, so I can reuse it later on for some other purpose, because it will hold all the names of the table. Who knows, I might need this. So I have written this, okay. I probably would need one for column name. I'm just predicting. So I'm just gonna go with column, C-O-L-U-M-N. I always do mistake with column spelling. So I have this, do this. Table name, column name, I declare two of them because these are the data maybe I will be using throughout. So go ahead and declare something global just underneath the ready function. This container can be very useful. Use undefined as their initial value. Go ahead and do this. Our objective to finish this by before 1 o'clock, and then the rest of them later. So let's go ahead and do this with me. Declare two variable, table name, column name with the camel casing system. Put undefined there for now. As you can see, they grayed out because we haven't used them yet. So of course, because I declared here, so no point calling var here, just gonna use it. I'm going to use this variable to store the information that coming from when you select that drop down. The drop down that you're selecting, the information that you will come from there. So the drop down that I'm selecting is called table name. The drop down has an ID called table select or something. But I don't have to use that. Watch. Because you are already on that said once, you can use this operator. Just do like this. Rather than calling it like this, you could do like this as well. Let me show you. This equals to this dot val. Val means variable, the value. You can do this, or you can use this operator. Go ahead and use this either way. If this makes sense, go ahead and do that. This also works. This dot value will work. You can use this, but if this makes sense, why not go ahead and I think it would be good to write selectable. So you mind you, I just want to make sure that it gives me that values before I write it. Console.log. I want to see if my table name has been developed or not. So far I have added this variable and I have added this to event. So the things that I'm changed, add this to variable on the just underneath ready. And I have, let me just give you this piece of code. So because I have done some small changes, just add yourself this to variable on the top. This will be in the chat because I have done so ups and down changes. So it's not fair. So probably will create 2 lines and then paste it. So far I have written this. After change, I should see this was enable. Also, I should see something in a console what table name I have selected. See if it is working. Yeah, this gave me the book list. It's enabled it. If I say users, that's fine. So we have achieved that. I need now. I have the name now. Can I use this operator? What do I have to do if I use this? Let's have a look. JQuery also provide you with this keyword. Let's see if this works. You can also do that. It's a JQuery this. I mean, JQuery just made this like that. Put it also. Let me see. If I'm doing right, I should see the same effect. To make one line shorter, few character, you can just. This is a JQuery this. If you do the JavaScript this, you would have written like this, vanilla, this dot value. Same thing. But when you write the JQuery this, you like this. Alternatively, you can write like this. All three are acceptable. Collect the data. Dot well. So or. Say or. So three different ways you can write this. This is a vanilla. I try not to mix too much vanilla when I'm doing JQuery. If JQuery has a function, then I would use that. Either this or this. But this function may not work here in this context because this is another function. So that's why use this much safer. When the context changes, because when you select, this belongs to this function. So this means the object that you're working on. But the context goes to another layer of abstraction. This may point to this. So that's why this is tricky to use all the time. But it is really life-saving. So, but at the moment, you're not using too much of it. Let's go ahead and this is to show you different way of doing things. I have console log. I'm happy. Just going to keep it there for now. Go ahead. I got the data now. Now that I have the data, I can write it. Now I'm going to use these files to do so many different things. So I decided to create a token for each operation of different Ajax. And this action, I will give them a name for myself, such get column name, get row names. So when they go to process PHP, I can segregate them, separate them each by their action. Delete, add, update. This is a great thing to do. You have to think about this way because when you're using one single PHP file, it's get longer and a lot of the Ajax call, they look similar. You'll be struggle to which one actually connected to which part of if in the process. So the good way to do this, use an action. Action is what action that is just a name. The action name, I will choose get column because that's the action that we are. This is for me, so I don't struggle. And of course, the data, this one, I need to wrap it around like this. So that is one thing. Now I need the table name. So I'm going to create another variable called table underscore name. These are for PHP. Sorry. Table underscore name. I need a value for it, and we have a value. Table name. And I do not have anything else for now. Finish the data. Go ahead and add these two actions. For each of these Ajax calls, I will have an individual, I will give a name to that call. Because they all call Ajax function, but how do I know that which one is doing what? So I'm going to identify them as a name I give and call get column because the objective of this Ajax meant to be this. And I'm going to check that in a PHP. Based on that particular section, I will execute a certain amount of code. Go ahead and add this. Data has been added. Of course, I'm going to use a little before send function. I'm going to type this whole thing quickly. These things, a loader function. It's just gonna put this here now. I'm just gonna copy this little bit from my previous code. Of course, I'm gonna use a cache as well. False, so I don't have any cache. I'm just gonna try. These things already explained. I'm just gonna enhance it. A cache false, a before sign I'll give you right away, and a success function at the end. This is what I need. Success is a function, and I will have some data coming and sitting there, and I will call that as response. First thing first. Response function, and I'm going to console log it if it counts. Okay. Do I need error? I'm not going to do the error. No, leave it there. So that's my Ajax function, guys. I'm just going to give you this bit in the chat. I haven't done anything much. Do you want all of it or just the chat? Ajax.
Yeah, I need it.
How do you contribute it? Yeah, because you have to type quite a lot here. That's
yeah.
Right. I don't want you to waste time because you know what is it.
It's I just stop at line 23.
Fair enough. No worries. Because these are repeating, so don't worry. That's the Ajax final. Because I don't want you to type all this thing. Do you know what is this? This is a loader, file loader.
Yeah, we already done it before.
You already done it before. So just if you have access to this chat, you can save the chat later. And of course, you can just save your time. Basically, our Ajax is ready to receive data from the server. Just have to do the server side for it. The processor. From here, I'm going to go to process.php.
Yeah, it's loading. I can see it's just loading.
Yeah, it's gonna go. Like, let's see how it's going. I didn't check actually. You checked it already.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. So this book list. Yeah, perfect.
The same.
He's waiting, of course, for the response, so I can understand that. So let's go to process. Send a hello message to him. So in here, just on the top, the function that we want to execute, but we have to check what action it is, whether those variables are set or not. So the first thing I want to do, of course, I'm just going to a little bit put some text here. So we know I'm going to call these things like this, a little bit of text here for commenting, maybe Ajax response 1 to populate column name. I'm going to put in a chat so you can avoid typing it. That's the objective. That's the response for call 1, Ajax wall response 1. So here I'm going to do the first check. If is set, I know I'll have two variables, one called post table name and an action. If it is set, and also if it is not empty, I always do this check, both of them. If it is not empty, carefully, that's my if. One if, two if. Oh, sorry. That's it. Apologies for that. Don't need one more. That's it. So this is if. Make some space in if because we might have a few of them here. One is this. One and this. If this is not empty, if this is set, also we want to continue. Put two more s. That's one condition. I'm going to bring it like this so you can see because you have a lot of them. Just as long as you don't break the if, it's fine. Make spaces if it makes life easy. One more check, same thing, is called if the post also, so this is one thing. Make sure that the table name is not empty and it's been set, which is sent from here in the data value. Table name is not empty and it is set. If it is, it could be set with double quote mark. So I have to double check it. So if it is set and if it is not empty, we also have to see which action it is. If the action was there and what is the name of the action. So I'm going to say post. I know I will set it manually, so I don't have to check anything. Post, another one, call action. And if action has the token of get column, let's have a look. Get column. The action get the get column. If this is the case, that columns or columns, just columns, because of course these are plural, decided to go with the columns, S. Add a little S to it, columns maybe. So of course, or column name, you know, get column name, something like this. You can add that. And then I go here, I check this. If this is the case, I want to echo, just for fun, echo saying that currently no data, just fun, for fun. See if response comes anything. Go ahead and add this bit into your code. Get columns. I'm a stupid guy. Forgot this get column one. Get columns. If everything was some, and this is an important check, and you can call it get column check. Get row, I call it. Oh, no, columns. Yeah, get columns section check. So that's pretty much the little code. If I have selected this menu, I should see it. No data now. For now, that's a no data or no data or something. Just leave it there. So I'm just gonna quickly check this out. See my response. What does book list? Of course, I can see book list. Can you see the Ajax fires? No data. So just put this in your PHP and see if you get the response. That means everything is okay. Ajax finding each other. Of course, we're gonna now send the data. We definitely going to collect information from. I need another data model function, which I can use just like get table to do this. So go ahead and try this out first. If you put this here, shall we go ahead and create our function, the column name function?
It showed me empty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't know. Where's my mistake?
There could be. Did you console log it here?
No.
Let's console log. You should find. So the response will come sit here, and then you're going to console log it, and you should be able to.
I console log it. Yeah.
Is it working now?
I need.
Go ahead.
No, today. No, it's just empty.
And make sure that you have the data like this.
And
Then make sure you select a column name first, a table name.
Okay.
It will only fire when you select a column name. Sorry, table name.
I forgot S.
Columns. Yeah, my fault. My fault. Because I didn't give you. You did not forget it. When I gave you copy paste, that time it didn't have S. I added it later, so it's not your fault. That's it. Hopefully it shows.
Yeah, it shows. Yeah, it shows now. Yeah.
So here we need a function now. We need to call a function which collect the data for the tables, and we want to then print it. So we need to go to data model, just like get table name. I'm going to create a function called get column name. Okay. Underneath of this, I can just copy this guy. Pretty much same function, change it. Let's copy exactly from the beginning. Just change few things and it is ready. You can literally use the same function to do the same thing, only changing the SQL statement. We can do that. We can actually do that. By changing the SQL name, I can actually run this function twice, but obviously that is something maybe we'll think later on. Let's do it manually. Just create another function, copy paste it. Instead of table, call it column name. Change everything to column name. I can do it together like this. Select this, use Control Shift L. Oh, that will change everywhere. No, just do this to call table name. That will be the name. Copy this, change it here. The rest of the thing is fine. Only thing will change is the SQL statement. The SQL statement will be like, instead of table name, we're going to call it column name. Column name. That's it. Change that. Information schema will be same if you want, and instead of table it will be columns. That's it. Literally columns. So whatever you see table name, change it to columns, and this will be keep this table name. This is table name, keep it that way. It was obviously because it's still gonna be the same table. All we want this time, we want not schema. We want table name, and the question mark will be this. It's going to collect with little change like this. You see, this is very little change. The rest of the application is same. So when I have the same function doing both, I could have easily used one single function to achieve this. I can repeat this. I can do it easily. But this variable, I don't know what it will hold. Will it hold table name? Will it hold this? That's the problem. So I probably need two variables for this. And they will be optional. If table name is provided, then SQL will be this. So I can repeat the process basically. I don't have to write two functions, but for now I'm going to write two functions. But you can later on optimize them to have one single function. That's because we are doing very little change, no? We're just changing a little bit here. The rest of them we don't even have to touch. So why to repeat? I could reuse the function, but that is something I will come later. I still want to have them separate name. to make it sense for you. For now, when I combine them, I'll have to choose a name, something like get info, get data, stuff like this. Get data table name, get data column name, something like that. But we're now gonna keep it like this. I'm gonna just copy paste and change it. Can you do that? Function to produce a table name. I'm gonna call column names, which used in Ajax. Ajax. Just copy the previous one, paste it with the comment, change it to table name, changes these guys. That's it. 2 places you change table name, and here a new statement. This should give us now, if I call this function, will give me the column names same way that we received. I can give you this function in case it will be quicker. Oh, I need to update my this name, get column name. Column name, I can just quickly fold it and give it to you guys. In case you can save some time. You can copy paste as well. It's the same function basically. I'll put it in a chat.